Alex woke up. The sun was not yet up. The room was dim. He went to the bathroom. He looked in the mirror. His face looked tired. Dark circles under his eyes. He blinked. His reflection blinked too. But something felt wrong. A tiny, small thing. Almost nothing. He thought he was just sleepy. He splashed water on his face. The cold felt good. He looked again. The reflection copied him. Everything seemed normal then. Maybe it was just his mind, playing tricks. He went downstairs. He made coffee. The house was quiet. Too quiet, maybe. He drank his coffee. He looked out the window. The street was empty. The sky was gray. He thought about the mirror, that little flicker, like a bad movie frame, a skip in a song. He shook his head. It was silly. He had a long day ahead. He could not think about silly things. He had work to do, important things. Later that day at work, he used the restroom. He washed his hands. He looked up. The mirror there was large. Bright lights above it. He saw his reflection clearly. He moved his hand. The reflection moved its hand, but then, a small pause, a tiny, tiny delay. His hand stopped. The reflection's hand stopped a moment later. It was so fast. If he blinked, he would miss it. But he saw it. He was sure. A cold feeling went down his back. Not fear, not yet. More like a question, a big question mark in his mind. Was he seeing things? Was he too tired? Or was something really happening? He looked around. No one else was there, just him. And the man in the mirror, the man who looked like him. But maybe, just maybe, was not him at all. He left the restroom quickly. He did not look back. The next morning it happened again. In his bathroom mirror, Alex raised his toothbrush. The reflection raised its toothbrush. But it was slow, a fraction of a second too slow. It was like watching a video with bad connection, the sound and picture not matching. Alex frowned. The reflection frowned back, but the frown seemed to come late. It was not just a delay now, it was clear. The reflection was not keeping up, it was falling behind. He decided to test it. He moved his head quickly, left, right. The reflection tried to follow. But it was clumsy, it was late. Its movements were not smooth. They were jerky, like a puppet learning to move. Alex felt a knot in his stomach. This was not normal, this was strange, very strange. He had never seen anything like it. He had never heard of anything like it. He felt a little sick. The reflection's face, it was his face. But the expression, it was different. When Alex stopped moving, his face was worried. The reflection's face, it looked almost curious, like it was studying him, not just copying, studying. Alex stared hard. The reflection stared back. Its eyes seemed to focus, really focus. Alex felt like an insect, pinned under a glass. He shivered. He wanted to look away. He started to avoid mirrors. It was hard. Mirrors were everywhere, the bathroom mirror, the rearview mirror in his car, shop windows on the street. Every shiny surface became a threat, a chance to see that lagging image, that strange, watching face. He tried to walk past them quickly. He tried not to look, but sometimes he could not help it. His eyes would flick to the side and he would see it, the man who was him, but not him. One evening, Alex stood before his bedroom mirror. He had to know. He had to look. He could not live with this not knowing. He took a deep breath. He looked into his own eyes, or what should have been his own eyes. They were the same color, the same shape, but the light in them was different. His own eyes felt tired, scared. The reflection's eyes, they were bright, too bright, and sharp. They did not just reflect the light, they seemed to hold their own light, a cold, knowing light, like the eyes of a cat in the dark, or a wolf. They were not his eyes, he knew his eyes. He saw them every day. These eyes in the mirror were strangers. They looked at him with an intensity that was chilling. They were not just mimicking his fear, they seemed to be feeding on it, or enjoying it. The reflection did not blink when he blinked. Not always. Sometimes it did, sometimes it did not. Sometimes its eyes would stay wide open, staring. While his own eyes blinked, it was a small thing, but it was terrifying, it was proof. This was not a trick of light, this was not his imagination. The thing in the mirror was separate. It had its own will, its own way of seeing. It saw him. A deep dread filled Alex. It was cold and heavy. It settled in his chest. He felt like he could not breathe. This was not just about a reflection anymore. This was about him, his sanity, his reality. Who was he? If the man in the mirror was not him, then what was it, and what did it want? He backed away from the mirror slowly. He did not turn his back on it. He could feel its eyes, watching him. Alex tried to act normal. He went through his day. He talked to people. He did his work. But the thought of the reflection was always there, a dark cloud in his mind. He found himself staring at shiny surfaces, a polished table, a dark phone screen, looking for it, dreading it. One day he was brushing his teeth. He tried to make a small smile, a test, a hopeful, nervous smile, just to see. The reflection smiled back, but it was wrong. So wrong. Alex's smile was small, uncertain. The reflection's smile was big, too big. It stretched its lips wide, showing too many teeth. The teeth looked sharper, longer. It was not a happy smile, it was a hungry smile, a predatory smile, like a shark sensing blood. Alex's own smile vanished. His face went cold. He felt his heart beat fast, very fast. The reflection's smile stayed. It lingered on its face. Even after Alex's face was blank with fear, the smile seemed to mock him, to challenge him. It was a smile that knew something Alex did not, a terrible secret. Alex wanted to scream. He wanted to break the mirror. He wanted to run away, but he was frozen, staring at that awful, knowing smile. It was not his smile. It was the smile of a monster. The fear was no longer a small prickle. It was a wave, a big dark wave. It washed over him. He felt sick. He felt weak. The thing in the mirror was not just different. It was changing. It was becoming more confident, more itself, and less like him. Alex knew. He knew with a certainty that froze his blood. The reflection was not him. It was something else, and it was getting stronger. It was watching him, waiting. Section 5, The Unseen Action. The changes became more bold, more obvious. It was not just about expressions anymore. The reflection started to move on its own, small movements. At first, Alex would be standing still, his hands at his sides, but in the mirror the reflection's fingers would twitch, just a little. A tiny movement, as if it was impatient, or testing its freedom. Alex would stare, his own hand perfectly still. The reflection's hand moving slightly. He started to feel things, strange things. When the reflection's finger twitched, Alex would feel a faint tingle in his own finger, like a ghost touch, a phantom sensation. It was not pain, it was just a presence, an echo of the reflection's movement on his own skin. It made his skin crawl. It felt like the reflection was connected to him. In some way, he could not understand. A terrible, invisible string. The reflection's head would tilt, just a fraction. When Alex's head was straight, as if it was listening to something Alex could not hear, or thinking thoughts Alex did not share. Its eyes would dart to the side, looking at something beyond the mirror, something in its own world, or perhaps something in Alex's world, that Alex could not see. The feeling of being watched grew stronger, constant. The reflection was no longer just a copy, it was an actor, on its own stage. The mirror was its world, and it was exploring its abilities. It seemed curious, and a little bit playful, in a scary way, like a cat playing with a mouse before the kill. Alex felt like the mouse. He was trapped. He could not escape the feeling. The reflection was there, always there, in every piece of glass, waiting, watching, moving. One morning, Alex stood in the bathroom. He was tired. He had not slept well. He watched the reflection warily. The reflection looked back. Its eyes were alert, too alert. Alex reached for his razor on the shelf. The reflection reached too. But then, the reflection's hand moved towards the tube of toothpaste. Alex was not reaching for the toothpaste. His hand was on the razor. The reflection picked up the toothpaste in its mirrored world. Alex froze. His heart pounded. The reflection held the toothpaste. It turned it over in its fingers, examined it as if it had never seen toothpaste before. Then, it did something impossible. It placed the toothpaste, not back where it was on its side of the glass, but to a different spot, a few inches to the left. Alex stared. His own real toothpaste was still in its original place on his shelf, or so he thought. Later that day, after he had forced himself to shave, after he had left the bathroom shaken, he went back. He had to check. He looked at the shelf. The toothpaste. It was not where he always kept it. It was moved a few inches to the left, exactly where the reflection had placed its toothpaste. Alex felt a cold sweat on his skin. How? How could it do that? It was in the mirror. It was not real. Or was it? This changed everything. The reflection was not just moving itself, it was interacting. It was affecting his world, the real world. The barrier between the mirror world and his world. It was not solid, it was thin. Maybe it was breaking down. The thought terrified Alex. What else could it do? Could it touch him? Could it leave the mirror? He felt a deep, primal fear, the kind of fear that makes you want to run and never stop. Alex could not take it anymore. He had to confront it. He stood before the large bedroom mirror, his hands clenched, his body tense. He looked at the reflection. It looked back, calmly, almost expectantly, as if it knew this moment was coming. "Who are you?" Alex whispered. His voice was hoarse, barely audible. He was afraid to speak louder, afraid of the answer. The reflection's lips moved, they formed words, but no sound came from the mirror. Silence. Alex watched the silent words. He could not understand them. It was like watching a foreign movie with no subtitles. Frustration mixed with his fear. "I can't hear you," Alex said, a little louder this time. "What do you want?" The reflection's expression changed. It looked thoughtful. Then, its lips moved again, slowly, carefully. Suddenly a voice. Not from the mirror, not from the room, but inside his head. A whisper, clear as a bell, but cold. So cold. "I am you," the voice whispered in his mind. "The real you." Alex stumbled back. He clutched his head. The voice was not his own. It was similar, but different, harsher, colder. It felt alien, invading his thoughts, his private space. This was impossible, insane. Panic flared, hot and sharp. He shook his head. "No," he gasped. "No, you're not me, you're something else." The voice in his head chuckled, a dry, rasping sound. It made his skin crawl. "Oh, but I am," it insisted. "I have been waiting for so long, to come back." Alex stared at the reflection. Its face was serene, almost peaceful, but its eyes burned with a triumphant light. He was trapped, talking to a monster, in his own head. The reflection smiled, that wide, chilling smile, its eyes fixed on Alex. "It is time," the voice whispered in Alex's mind, louder now, more confident. "Time to switch places." Alex felt a surge of terror. "No!" he cried out loud. "You can't!" The reflection raised its hand, slowly. It reached towards the surface of the mirror, towards Alex. Its fingers looked long, and pale. As the reflection's fingers touched the glass, the surface of the mirror rippled like water. The image distorted, twisted. The reflection's fingers seemed to push through into Alex's world. Alex could almost feel a cold touch, a cold draft coming from the mirror. He tried to move back, but his feet felt like lead. He was frozen in place, watching in horror as the impossible happened. The barrier was breaking. "You have been out long enough," the voice in his head said. It sounded pleased. "You enjoyed my life. Now it is my turn." A powerful force seemed to pull Alex forward, towards the cold, rippling glass. He struggled, he fought, but it was no use. The reflection's form became clearer, more solid as it stepped, or seemed to step, out of the mirror. And Alex felt himself pulled into the cold, dark glass. The world turned, spun, darkness, then light. He was looking out from inside the mirror. He saw his room, his furniture, and he saw himself standing there where he had been standing. But it was not him. It was the reflection. The entity. It looked around the room, a slow, satisfied smile on its face. His face. It stretched its arms, his arms as if testing a new suit. It felt good to be out. The voice was gone from his head. It was out there now. He was inside the mirror, looking out. He saw the thing, the entity, wearing his body. It walked around his room. It touched his things, his books, his clothes. It moved with a new confidence, a new purpose. It was him, but it was not him. Alex tried to shout, but no sound came out. He tried to bang on the glass, but his hands passed through the image. He was a ghost, trapped in his own reflection. The entity picked up Alex's wallet from the dresser. It opened it. It looked at his driver's license, at his picture. It smiled, that terrible wide smile. Then it put the wallet in its pocket. His pocket. It walked to the door. It paused. It looked back, at the mirror, at Alex trapped inside. Its eyes were cold, triumphant. It gave a small nod, almost a salute. Then it turned, and walked out of the room, leaving Alex alone, in the silent, cold glass. Was this the truth? Had he been the reflection all along? The one who had somehow escaped? And now the original was back, taking its rightful place? The thought was a new kind of horror, a horror that twisted his mind. Who was the imposter? Was he the one who did not belong? Or was this entity a thief, a stealer of lives? He did not know. He could not know. The lines were blurred. Reality was broken. He was left with the chilling uncertainty. Was he Alex, or just a copy? A shadow that had lived a borrowed life? The entity was out there now, living his life, walking in his shoes, and he was here. A prisoner in the glass, forever? The mirror showed him his own face, trapped, desperate. But was it truly his face anymore, or just the mask of the one who lost? The question echoed, in the silent, endless prison of the mirror. Who was the real you?